So the next thing I wanted to do was do some simple concept art, or a storyboard if you will. So I pretty much drew something very basic, very simple. As you can see, this is something really basic, something I did very quickly. So you can read it this way, left to right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So pretty much what I was trying to show is the relation of the dengue virus and the dendritic cells and MMPs and the fever. So that's the connection I was trying to make. So over here in the first one, I show a blood vessel, which is pretty much like a pipe, with some RBCs, red blood cells. I can also show some white blood cells, some platelets. And surrounding the blood vessel over here, on the outside, over here, and over here, are pretty much connective tissues, which I have in the second image. So here's the blood vessel, and these are all the connective tissues, some fibrous tissues, some star-shaped structures right here. So these are outside the blood vessel, 360 degrees surrounding the blood vessel, but I'm just showing them only on one side. So the star-shaped structure is the main dendritic cell. So this is the cell that is getting infected by the virus. So the virus really needs a cell to live. It needs a host cell to live, so it makes the dendritic cell, in this case, its host cell. So then I showed a simple globular structure, which is this little guy over here, this little thing, and that's the dengue virus. And I'm going to show the structure approaching the dendritic cell, and it enters the dendritic cell. And because of that, the dendritic cell starts producing MMPs, and in this case, MMP2, which we'll take a look at very soon. So the MMP2 is secreted by this dendritic cell into the surrounding tissue. So these MMPs are then going towards the blood vessel. So you can see right over here the MMP are being secreted by this dendritic cell. So these over here pretty much go to the blood vessel, these MMPs, which is right next to it. So the blood vessel was right here, and the virus over here goes into the dendritic cell. The dendritic cell then starts producing or secreting the MMPs, and the MMPs start going everywhere and pretty much start approaching the blood vessel over here. And what they do is they pretty much right over here, if you can see, they start punching holes and making the blood vessel very leaky. So now the red blood cells, or the RBCs, are leaking out, as you can see. As a result of that, they're nicely over here, well, not really nicely, but they're leaking out. And they're not supposed to do that. They're not supposed to be. So when they leak out, they go into the surrounding tissue. So they leak out from here, they go into the surrounding tissue. And they're not supposed to do that. And that's how they start making hemorrhages. And that is how the dengue hemorrhagic fever manifests. So there are hemorrhages everywhere, and the person starts to, lose blood, and that's how the person dies. So RBCs, or red blood cells, are disc shaped. So that's what I'm showing them inside over here. And in the end, you can see that right now they're coming out because of the hemorrhages. So the whole process is called dengue hemorrhagic fever. So basically the patient will lose a lot of blood and have low blood pressure. And because the blood is basically supposed to be in the blood vessel, and it's not supposed to be in the surrounding tissue where you don't need blood. So when the RBCs come out, again, the process is called hemorrhage. And pretty much the MMP2s is what are being secreted by this dendritic cell. And how did the dendritic cell secrete those MMPs? Because this dengue virus over here went into the dendritic cell. So again, that's what's going on over here, and that's what we're going to talk about. So in the next video, I'll show you some more research that I had done.